Hi again everyone and welcome to another episode of the SPI Vidcast. In this episode, we'll be talking about tarot cards and its relationship with spirituality. Now firstly, what is the tarot? What are tarot cards? The tarot is a deck of cards which originated in the mid-15th century, and it was initially played as normal card games in Italy and in France, and later in other parts of Europe as well. All right, so it was just played just like any other normal card game at that time. But in the late 18th century, occultists found that the deck of cards could actually be used for divination, to tell the future, for spiritual insight, and stuff like that. So tarot cards began to take on a more spiritual aspect and use after the late 18th century. Today, tarot decks which are used for divination are composed of two sets of cards. One set is called the Major Arcana, the other set is called the Minor Arcana. Major Arcana meaning greater secrets, Minor Arcana meaning lesser secrets. Now, let's talk about the Major Arcana and Minor Arcana. The Major Arcana are made up of 22 cards of characters. Okay, characters beginning with the Fool, who represents essentially us, you, me. All right, and then there are other characters which are like Judgment, Temperance, the Hierophant, World, etc. So there's 22 cards of that. All right. Now the Minor Arcana is composed of 4 suits. All right, 4 suits made out of wands, pentacles, cups, and swords. Now each suit has got 10 number cards. All right, from 1 ace to 10. All right, and also has 4 court cards. All right, the king, the queen, the knight, and the page. So how are tarot cards related to spirituality and divination? Well, tarot cards have been said to be intimately linked with the Hermetic Kabbalah. All right, scholars and occultists studying the tarot cards say that the Hebrew alphabet corresponds with the 22 major arcana cards, because there are 22 letters in the Hebrew alphabet and there are 22 major arcana cards. All right. Also, the Hermetic Kabbalah has a tree of life as one of its founding principles. All right. The major arcana resides between the movement in the tree of life. There are 22 paths in that tree of life. 22 paths corresponding with 22 cards in the major arcana. All right. Now, what about the minor arcana? All right. There are 10 cards in each suit, right? So the 10 cards correspond to the 10 sephira. Also, the 4 court cards, the king, queen, knight, and page. Well, some occultists claim that they represent the stages of human life, while other occultists say that the 4 court cards represent the name of God in the Jewish religion. Okay, in the Abrahamic religions, which are Judaism, Christianity, Islam. Now, specifically in the Jewish religion, the name Yahweh is given to God, and it is acronymized as YHWH. So the YHWH, that's 4 letters, and these 4 letters represent the king, queen, knight, and page. All right. Now, Yahweh is not really God's real name. It's like a title bestowed upon God. All right. The Christian version or the Latinized version of Yahweh is Jehovah, and in the Islamic Quran, the name Yahweh appears as Hoa. Okay, so what is Hermetic Kabbalah anyway? Hermetic Kabbalah is a set of religious principles attributed to a figure called Hermes Trismegistus. Okay, no relationship at all to the Hermes bag, but it is said to be but this figure is said to be a combination of the Greek god Hermes and the Egyptian god Thoth. Okay, both of them have very similar characteristics. Now, Hermeticism, as a set of religious principles and ideals, ran parallel with the Abrahamic religions. All right. It was around at the time of Moses, it was around at the time of Jesus, it was around at the time of Muhammad as well. And you could say that it offered a parallel thought to the Abrahamic religions. In fact, in Shia Islamic thought, Hermes Trismegistus is identified as Prophet Idris in the Quran. Now, if it appeared in the Quran, then it technically should appear in the Bible and the Torah as well as Prophet Enoch. So, Idris is an Arabic name, right? Its Hebrew equivalent is Enoch, and its Greek equivalent is Hermes. All right. So, according to Shia scholars, these are the same person. You could take a look at the Quranic verses 19.57 and 21.85, and in the Bible, it is in the book of Genesis 5.18 to 5.24. So, what is the most prominent feature of tarot cards? Journeys. All right. The story about taking a journey, path through life, following a certain route, going a certain way, movement, that sort of a thing is the most prominent feature of tarot cards. How does this come through? First and foremost, the word tarot was derived from the Arabic word tariq, which means the way. Secondly, in the major arcana, there are 22 cards, as I mentioned, beginning with the Fool. The Fool is us, you, me, going on a journey and encountering many other people along the way. People such as the Magician, people such as the Empress, people such as Death, the Devil. So it's us going through life, meeting all these people. Sometimes these people affect us in ways that we would never think of. Sometimes we even become these people. For example, the story about the Fool, when he meets the hanged man, he eventually realizes that he himself is the hanged man. In the minor arcana, the suit of wands represents one's journey, one's career, and one's lifestyle. And finally, Carl Jung's psychotherapy. Tarot cards have an intimate link with our own collective unconscious. In Carl Jung's conception of psychotherapy, the individual is always in search of wholeness. And when tarot cards are used in relation with Carl Jung's psychotherapy, the individual's search of wholeness is his journey towards completion. So where does the power of tarot cards lie? As I mentioned earlier, Carl Jung's psychotherapy is linked with tarot cards, right? So when you read tarot cards, one of the things that we are doing is that we are tapping into our collective unconscious. According to Carl Jung, the entire world is made up of a collective unconscious of similar archetypes. Certain heroic myths, certain visions, certain images that exist across all cultures. When we look at the tarot cards and we look at the symbols in tarot cards, we are tapping into these archetypes of the collective unconscious. And these archetypes, through the symbols, will tell us a story about our own lives and our own placement in the world. The more esoteric explanation about the power of tarot cards come from its ability to tap into a universal energy. All right? Hermetic Kabbalah and Hermeticism in general talk about the world being composed of rhythms, of correspondences, and of vibrations. There are many ways to read tarot cards. The Hermetic way would be the most dominant way. Indian tarot card readers have also devised Ayurvedic ways of interpreting tarot cards. And there are also numerological ways of reading tarot cards. You see that there are numbers assigned to each of the cards in the tarot deck. Yep, there are numerological ways of reading the tarot cards as well. Again, some Indian tarot card readers are using the numerological way, as well as some Chinese tarot card readers are using the numerological way as well. Now let's do a few readings to show how tarot cards can be used to interpret someone's past, present, or future.
I find it hard to maintain a relationship. What should I do?
Firstly, you can be a bit overbearing. That's just your character. Now that explains why you find it hard to maintain a relationship. It looks like you also have some financial trouble at the moment. Now money can make people edgy. I see that you are also unfulfilled, or at least you feel unfulfilled in life, but you are determined to set things right. To you, a major part of life is your love life. There is disharmony because on the one hand, you are disturbed by your financial troubles. On the other hand, you are troubled by your inability to maintain a relationship, right? Now, my best advice is for you to get your finances in order first. At least get a job for now. You will feel a sense of completeness when you have a job, and that would make you more confident in attempting a new love life.
I have been offered 2 jobs. Which one should I take?
You began a new romantic relationship recently, and it's going well, I can see. So you've come to me today because you've been offered 2 jobs. Okay, it's shown here. Now, the first job, job A, makes you feel something is missing. Job B doesn't pay well, and you don't know for how long you might be stuck at that pay scale. But you have hope for job A. If you take up job B, you will feel like you missed out on another opportunity. Now, either way, both jobs make you feel not stable at the moment, which is why you asked me that question, right? Okay, job A will lead you to stagnation though, all right? So be careful of that. Job B is something that you are not quite used to. It's something new, so it will be tough getting used to it. So the answer to your question is, neither job is good for you. Stay with your current job. Both the new jobs offered will give disharmony between your working life and your love life.
Describe my closest friends and family.
Well, you have someone in your life who you quarrel a lot with. You think he is the one who starts the fights, but actually, you are the one. Someone else in your life recently broke up with their romantic partner, is that right? Another person in your life is very righteous, but very fair. You have to be pretty careful in front of him, right? Now, there's one person in your life who you must be very careful of. That person is quite cunning and deceitful. That person tries to make it as if the person is your friend, but there are some hidden secrets and hidden agenda behind it.